Creamsource. Creamsource, I've said for years, the Vortexes are some of the best like in that form factor. Like I love the punchiness. I did a review of them a while back, and I'm a big color meter nerd.
Okay.
So, love the accuracy. The controls are great. The ruggedness. I know you're not doing it this year, but you usually had that maybe just dumping water on it.
Oh, yeah. The good old water tank.
Yeah. But what's new this year? I see you got some soft sources and also a massive one.
Yeah, so we're expanding the Vortex line with 3 new SKUs. So we have the Vortex 24. So that's 24 zones of control. Tons of output, still has that 20-degree beam angle, still IP rated, power supply built in, so just gives you, a big gun for your big rigs when you need a lot of light. So we're very excited about that one. And then now we have the Vortex Soft, which we're launching in the 1x1, the V4, and our 2x1, the V8. So, where our original Vortexes give you a lot of throw and punch with that 20-degree beam angle, this is going to, right out of the box, give you very widespread and a nice, soft, even light for your key light or putting through moon boxes or putting a snapback on. Yeah. And the idea is that, while you can get a great soft light out of the traditional Vortex.
Because I was going to say, you used to be able to, you can drop a diffusion in front of it, right?
Yeah, we have flats and dome. That's really nice. But the problem is you end up getting light loss because it's just not efficient to go through. So the output comes down. So essentially our softs are going to be 60% brighter than if you were to get the equivalent softness out of a traditional Vortex. And the idea is that we are creating a bit of an ecosystem around this. So sometimes people don't want hard light and only use Vortexes as soft, and why not give them an advantage by making something that's a little bit brighter out of the gate. And with things like our Lynx rigging system or our multi-yokes that we have, you can kind of mix and match and still get that hard input. So
what's the Lynx?
So the Lynx came out last year. So you have a box back there, but basically it's a way to take a full array of fixtures and you line them all up, put pins in the back, and there's a clamp that can connect to piping, so you can build these large walls.
Got it.
Which are used a lot for image-based lighting, which we're demonstrating a slightly different way at the show here.
Right, that's what all this is.
But yeah, that's a big thing now. So we're running a simulate. We've really done a lot to kind of learn more about the workflow of virtual production. What are the pain points that customers are having? Because they're really are starting to focus more on lighting in that space. So we're, with this case, is giving a little bit of a setup where we're showing how you can kind of, in a distributed way, do image-based lighting. So you don't have to do just a large wall. You can kind of pepper lights throughout your set and get the effect of the light that you're trying to create in the environment.
Right.
And with the Vortexes in particular, because of that 20-degree beam angle and the way we do our zones, you can get really interesting texture out of the light that you wouldn't get from soft lights or a panel, an LED wall, if you're working in a volume. So this gives you something that can give you that hardness, those shadows, and you can even checkerboard, turn every other one off, and get even more interesting shadows and patterns when you're doing interactive light.
Yeah, so I can see in at least the 4 soft, there's 8 zones?
So the 8 soft has 8 zones, the 2x1, and then the 4 is just half of that.
Sorry, yeah.
So it actually matches perfectly with the traditional Vortex. That's another thing that's a part of this ecosystem is all of the controls are the same between the softs and the hards, or any Vortex, if you will, regardless of shape and size. All the accessories that are gonna at least match equivalent in size. So the 2x1 soft, the 8, whether it's soft or hard, you can use the same flat diffusers, same soft diffusers, all the optics are interchangeable.
Got it.
And then from a service standpoint, all the components are the same as well. So we're making it so that you can really pick and choose what you want to use, what tool best works for you, but it's all going to be familiar. And anything you've invested already in the Vortex line, you're going to get even continued and more of a system around it as we change and add more SKUs.
Right, and so for people who don't know, you've got XY coordinates, you've got full RGB, CRMX?
Yep, CRMX built in. Yep, and our XLR ports are also weatherproof, so you can do wireless in the rain, you can do hardwired in the rain. But yeah, built in CRMX, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. We have IP addresses. You can run streaming ACN direct into the fixtures. The 24 also has an interesting, unique feature where there's 2 Ethernet ports, so you can actually daisy chain your data, because when you get up to 24 zones, you're going to eat up a lot of addresses, and you're going to get close to one universe on one fixture. So we try to make it a little easier by allowing you to daisy chain a handful of them if you're going to do an array.
Yeah. Well, and to your point about the weatherproofing, I was saying off camera that I had Marcus Porter on the podcast. That episode's coming out in like 5 weeks. So I get backed up by like 6, 8 people are always like, when's that coming out? I'm like, dude, like 2 months. There's a lot of you. But he just did this show with Newbie Rapace. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now. He was saying it was like -20 and these things were kicking. They just left them outside and they just did the whole shoot, no problem. Frozen solid and still works great.
Yeah, it's amazing. They really hold up. I've heard stories about them being left out over the weekend during a snowstorm and having to get shoveled out of the snow, and everyone was like, there's no way these are going to work. Turn right on, no problem.
Yeah.
There was a crew that had them on the North Pole for a while, got caked in ice. They had to ship them back in a container. Everything melted, was musty.
Yeah.
Again, they were like, there's definitely going to be some damage to these, and no problem with any of them.
Yeah, it's incredible engineering, and it's cool to see the softs now that you're saying that like they're more powerful, because it didn't even occur to me. Of course you lose power by putting the little soft in there, but that's kind of the thing I love about you guys, is it's the only like form factor that has that really hard punch that, so you can, if you want, bounce it instead of having to go straight through diffusion, which is
I mean, they're incredibly versatile lights, and of course people love them, and the softs were just, again, giving another tool,
100%.
Making it easier, especially if you're building arrays where you can do some interesting things pattern-wise.
Keep them in the ecosystem.
And if you need soft light and you need a lot of output and you want something efficient, that's where the softs come in. And they're priced a little more competitive than the hard ones as well.
Sure.
So again, for studio applications where the punchiness might be a bit overkill, this just makes it really easy to use right out of the box for QA.
Yeah, well, and it keeps them in the ecosystem, which is nice. And I thought I had another thought, but I just kept saying ecosystem in my head. So that's
all right. Well, that's good. It's I've ingrained it in your mind then.
Yeah. Is there anything else? I mean, I've said it before. I love these. I almost did another swear. Love these lights. It's cool. Oh, you know what? I forgot about that thing, the round one.
Oh, the SpaceX.
The SpaceX, yeah.
Love the SpaceX. One of my favorite lights out there. So, I mean, not new. Actually, predates the Vortex. These came out in 2018. I believe.
I was going to say, yeah.
Was when these were released. I think a really great fixture, very well priced, 1,200 watts for $4,500. You can remove those optics, which are 50-degree optics. So you can get a nice wide 110-degree beam angle or go to a 50.
Yeah.
Has a speed ring for an octabank, fills the octabank up real nicely. Can be hung as a space light, can be punchy. Again, a very versatile fixture that can do the work of a big light without being so big.
Well, and you just reminded me what I was going to ask. On the soft, what are you like? What kind of output are we talking? I guess lumens, but also like from here, what are we like? F8? What's the roughly, if you were to guesstimate?
Let's see. So this one, the softs are gonna be 2,340.
Well,
awesome.
Thanks a lot, man. Like I said, probably top 2 favorite light companies. So
that's great to hear.